Hello everyone, and welcome to Shenanigoons, a D&D spell jamming campaign where science and magic collide and you contribute to the chaos. Hello to my wonderful players. How are you guys doing?
I'm good.
We're good. Okay. All right.
Awesome. So to start us off here, we'd like to thank, right off the bat, our sponsors, World Anvil, who just saw their awesome video. You can go to worldanvil.com and see all the awesomeness there. And we'd like to thank Die Hard Dice. Go to dieharddice.com and see all the awesomeness there. That's all. We'll talk about that more later. What do we do at this point? We say hi. We say hi to our wonderful audience. We romp a room. I see Jesse. I see Matthew. I see Wolf. I see Autumn. I see all sorts of people. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. You're amazing. Thank you guys for being here. And as we get kind of started up here, we'll talk a little bit about all the stuff. We're gonna get all the housekeeping out of the way. That's what we like to do up front, so then we don't have to worry about it later. So, if you like what we do and you're here, so I assume you do, you can support our stream by numerous different ways. Of course, you can go over to our Patreon and support us over at patreon.com/nerdsmith. But one of the best, most direct ways to do it is right here on this stream. You can do what you see right now on just below me. You can see it right there. You could do spend $5 with the donate to the stream, support the stream. What does it say down there? Tip the stream? Something like that. Way down the thing. $5 will give a reroll to the players or to the DM, as we found out last week. I have one sitting right here. There's my reroll right there. $15 allows you to force one player to spin the wheel of causality, afflicting them with some sort of horribleness for the rest of the night, not campaign. That would be really bad. $25 will allow you to introduce an NPC, as you may have seen Matthew do last week, introducing Jeremy, the amicable astral narwhal, which is going to be very interesting. And then for $50, you can have one player become the DM for 30 minutes with our DM Ex Machina. And you can do some hashtags in the chat to figure out all of those cool little things. And we need a command that tells you all the commands for those. And I'm going to work on that for next week. The other new thing that we introduced last week is that bits will improve the health of the ship during the next session. So you'll learn, last week we hit our goal for a minor bonus. So you will see that, you'll hear about that with the captain's address earlier, or her log. We've decided that the captain goes by any pronouns, so we can refer to them as they, them, he, her, she, he, him, she, her. I screwed all that up, but anyway. So they will be doing the log here, and you'll learn about that there. What else do I have to do? What else do we have to talk about here? Is there anything I'm missing? Nope, that's it.
No,
Okay.
I think that's it.
So we're going to go ahead and... Yes?
I said that was very succinct.
I'm trying to be quick. I want to get to the good stuff. Goodness? I want to get to the goodness. That'll be our new slogan. Probably not.
Just get to the goodness.
So we're going to go ahead and do our intro video. We'll come right back and we'll get right into it. So we'll see you guys in a few minutes. Well, in a minute and 38 seconds.
In a minute.
Sailing the stars in search of a harbor. Won't you join our crew? Fly like a steady, even when it gets heavy. Amidst the chaos, they'll see you through. Dietrich's disdain hides a gentler refrain to keep our spirits up. And where there's a fight, there's probably Piper. She's tiny, but she's tough. What's hidden inside, discover secrets big and small. And there's Flora to smile through the horror and wonder of it all. Dermot the bear moves through his vacant stare. up. So won't you come along and wish us luck?
Also believable.
So we're back. That was boy. We only get together once a week, and this is what happens. We haven't talked much this week. So we see the Captain Packard, Aurora Packard, sitting in their cabin, writing in their book, and dictating out loud as they do so. Captain's log. It's day 3 of our new journey. Our encounter with the giant space Medusazoa, yes, I had to look that up, has taken us so far off course that nothing is familiar. With rapidly dwindling supplies, we have no other choice but to begin exploration for food and hopefully a friend or two. We have precious little to trade, and we will need to rely on our services we can offer, our hidden talents, and the kindness of strangers to survive. Speaking of friends, it appears we have gained a new mascot, an astral creature known as Jeremy. As we approach the purple crystal sphere, I am realizing that travel will take much longer than previously considered. It could be days or weeks between new worlds, and possibly years to return to ours. Once our food situation is stabilized, we'll need to do something about the boredom. While it is my duty to return this crew and passengers to our world safely, I am not paid to entertain them. As I've calculated out my pay versus the time this mission might take, I'm basically working for peanuts. So as you continue to approach the crystal sphere, it takes almost a full day to travel, and the sphere was fairly large, much larger and closer than any other spheres around you. Other than there were a few that I believe we said different colors were all the same. And as you're approaching the crystal sphere, the captain calls the 6 of you into together in the mess hall, I guess we'll call it. We're approaching the sphere. You seem to have some sort of knack for social situations. Would you be interested in being the first to talk with any new life forms we find?
Absolutely. Sounds like a time.
Excellent.
Off the ship.
I don't mean to sound like a bore, but what's in it for us?
Not?
Thank you.
Sure, fair. Would there be any compensation or benefits other than pure altruism on our part to participate?
Survival, food, getting home without dying.
She makes very salient points.
All right.
But the first issue that we have is once we've reached the edge of the crystal sphere, we'll need to spell jam to pass through it. However, once we're into wild space within, we can no longer spell jam. We must rely on Peanut.
They're awfully small. Is that going to work?
Excellent question.
We'll have to
Is
consult
that a
with
nice way of
Lisa.
saying that you don't actually know?
That is correct. We've never tried to run a spell jammer with a baby hamster.
No time to
If
start,
it's
but no.
too much on its system. I worry because it's not as if he's expendable.
Couldn't we construct something perhaps a little more simple or set it on a low setting or something? I don't pretend to know how it works.
There are different settings for the device. However, and just kind of trails out. However, it would be very slow.
Slow's better than stopping.
It could take us
Slower than
weeks to arrive to any planet.
Dear.
You'll be done talking by then, I think.
And we'll be out of food as well.
Maybe. Niesel could get a smaller wheel.
If we had a team of goblins, maybe.
Right. So, on the planet, you want us to find a team of goblins.
Uh-huh.
That know
Some
spelljamming
equivalent.
technology.
Right.
Some equivalent to goblins, at least.
Well, can't make any promises. We haven't been there yet.
But we are certainly willing to take a look around, I believe. And Curie looks at everybody, sort of testing the waters here.
I'm always down to look into new things and find out more information, but I don't know if I should do much of the talking. I've been told I'm annoying. I don't stop talking, so perhaps someone who's less yeah.
The trick, dear, is to find someone who is your conversational compatibility partner. You must find someone who speaks at a reasonable cadence that can keep up with you, and I'm sure we can make that work.
Or me. I can just listen as quick as you can talk. I'm a quick listener.
Excellent
That's
emergency
true. You're a really good
compromise.
listener.
Once we've arrived in wild space and figured out how to navigate there, we'll be able to find any planets which might hold life. Thanks to the efforts of the crew and the ephemeral guardians of our ship, we've temporarily have the ability to scry on one local planet before we set down, giving us the opportunity to maybe answer some questions we might have.
And be prepared for extenuating circumstances. That's excellent, Captain. Thank you very much. Is that something we could do for this planet?
Yes. Thanks again to the ephemeral guardians.
Blessed be.
Thank you, guardians of the bits who... I don't know what I'm saying. It made it sound good.
The bits of the ship.
And baubles, yeah, right. Things that make the ship go.
Right. Right, well, I guess there's nothing for it other than to just give it a try, I suppose.
Captain,
Yes.
you mentioned some capability of scrying. Has there been any attempts to send back home? Are we considered on the same plane of existence at this point?
No.
Which
Dimensional
thing did I
magic
ask?
doesn't work
All right.
within the Nexus.
Understood. And if we were to enter into one of these spheres, we would technically be on a different plane? Is that how that would define?
Correct. Dimensional magic only works within the sphere which you are confined in.
Understood. Thank you.
That's good.
Also, I've been doing some research, and one thing that might be very strange for some of you, if you have any sort of religious connection or patron, when you enter the sphere, your patron or religious affiliation, the power that you have will come from a new source.
You're a free agent, Piper. Congratulations.
Captain, say what?
I know it's a strange sensation, but your divine magic, the source of its power, comes from the celestial plane tied to our crystal sphere. Each crystal sphere has its own. Theoretically, some may have multiple or maybe even none.
Oh my. But if there is one, it'll be delightful. You'll get adopted.
Great. That's not worrying at all.
For the most part, I'm not sure you'll notice anything.
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot like our band got in trouble a while back, right? We had this song called Lack of Pressure, right? And it had a very particular cadence to it that sounded a lot like Lava Lava Granny, which was written earlier by a different band. And so it was the same cadence and song structure, but it was just a different name.
They had a little tss in it. Yeah, I remember.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
slightly different.
It was the hi-hat separated it.
Uh-huh. Because there was a very tall fellow who had the hat on.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I'm ashamed. So it's similar but different, but it'll be all right.
Right.
Is what I gather. You'll be
Oh.
fine, Piper. You seem more than capable on your own.
I think the ship just lurched.
That's all right.
It's better
Working
now.
out the kinks still, aren't you, Felix?
1 second, guys. We're having a technical difficulty.
Oh!
Sorry, I did not mean to derail.
No, not at all. You're justifiably concerned about a transition in your... I don't know how the magics work. Power source?
Well, yeah, I mean, not being able to do, protection-y thingies when we're about to embark on a new journey and where there could be dangers, and being unable to protect you all makes me a little nervous, that's all.
Only possibly, though. There's that percentage. We don't know the actual numbers, but it might be fine. No sense worrying about it until we know there's something to worry about. I
Correct.
think.
Oh, I really beg to differ. There's often a lot of sense in worrying about things even before they're apparent in being there to worry about. Just
All right.
Just food for thought.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. I mean, we prepared for it, right? So we know to look out for things, and we'll be careful, and we'll be fine.
Sorry, I spaced out there for a minute. Did you need me?
Spaced out.
I don't think so. I think it's just a matter of getting Peanut to where he needs to go, I suppose.
I would take Peanut to Liesel and see what you can do. I'll get us through the crystal sphere.
Thank you very much, Captain. Feel very safe with you at the helm.
I do have a question. Does Peanut need to be doing the thing when we enter the sphere, or can they start their thing after we've entered the sphere?
After is just fine. Obviously, we can start and stop as much as necessary.
Well, I didn't know if, the life support systems were hamster based or not. And, depending on what
my.
they were doing, on that wheel, if they weren't running, then we weren't breathing.
The hamsters are merely propulsion.
Duly noted.
Right. Well, let's
deliver the little peanut.
Yep.
And the captain will leave.
All right, so we deliver the peanut and then scry on the planet once we're in, it sounds like. Figure out which planet is best to go to for food and stuff.
Sounds sound.
Just wanted to make sure I followed everything.
So you... Oh, go ahead. Kyle, do you have something to say? Okay.
No.
So you guys head over to Niesel's, to the engine room. And upon arriving, you see Niesel is working on getting everything cleaned up in there and getting things ready. He's got several... he's got this 2 huge hamster wheels that look like they're on either side of these this sort of console, this sort of wooden large box, and on one side of that there's all of these metal brass levers and dials.
Niesel?
Hi, Niesel.
Hello all, how are you? I hope things are going well.
I'm managing.
How are you doing?
I'm a little lost. I'm really not sure what I can be doing. I'm glad to have some purpose again now.
Well, we have brought your purpose to you.
Excellent.
Direct delivery.
We just need to wait until we've crossed through, and then we can. He kind of points to Peanut.
Yeah. He's most likely going to be doing the thing that they do with two places at once.
Oh, okay. And a moment later, you hear, all hands, brace for impact. All hands, be ready. We're doing the thing again. And you remember the warning before, the first time you crossed through the threshold, right before the crash, being a lot more comforting than what you're receiving now. Although the actual passing through the sphere, other than a little mild turbulence, is not as dramatic as the last time. So the ship shakes a little bit, and then all of a sudden, while you're in the Nexus, you feel the Nexus pushing against the ship. You feel this energy, almost like you're on a boat on the ocean. As soon as you enter into wild space, you feel nothing. You still have gravity and everything, but the ship just ceases to be. It's completely still. There's no motion at all. Nisha looks and goes, "Oh, all right. That seems to be it. Are we ready?"
Would you like to do the honors, Dermot?
Okay. Okay, Peanut. Cuddle with me. Soft and squiggly, so kind and carefree. Snuggle with me. Gentle and furry, filling everyone with glee. Boop. Yeah, they've been inspired now.
That was very beautiful. So will you put him on the wheel?
I think he's, does he want to do his 2 places at once thing or not? I don't know.
I'm not quite sure what you mean.
If Dermot passes him over, we're afraid that all
No,
6
so
of
at
us
this
will
point,
lose sight of
he
him.
is no longer supposed to be in your care, so you may put him down.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure the rules of the space hamster.
So that's fine. So as you set as you set Peanut down on this gigantic with this wheel designed for a large creature, he is just overtaken by it. He's overwhelmed. He stands there and almost falls through the bars along this hamster wheel, and kind of just sits down and like is holding on and like looking up, and then looks at Dermot.
I've inspired you. You can do it. You got this.
So he kind of doesn't really understand what he's supposed to be doing.
I'm gonna hop in.
All right.
And I'm gonna start limp running.
Okay. So you take a step and then another one, and Peanut kind of runs to the edge where the bar is continuous, and just starts to like run along this edge. But for every one of your steps, it takes him a long time to kind of catch up with that. And if you stop, he just kind of starts running up until he gets too high and then kind of slides down.
Nisol, do you have any levers or buttons or switches that can help them out?
It's already on the easiest setting. Maybe you could pick him up and run? I have no idea if that'll work.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Peanut, hop on board.
All right. So Peanut climbs back up with you, and Dermot, you start running on the wheel. All right. So after you run the wheel up to speed, Niesel engages a lever, which makes it a little bit harder to run, much like changing the gears on a bike. And after 2 or 3 of these levers, it becomes almost too much for you to keep up with the wheel. It becomes very heavy. But you do start to feel the ship move.
Is it working?
It does seem to be. We have some sort of and he kind of starts pointing to some dials and things. We'll need to go much faster, but yes, it seems to be working. And we've tried with other people and druids and animals, and nothing ever seemed to work.
It's peanut power.
If we
Lilac
need
is
to go
gonna
faster, I might be able to help with that.
What's Lilac gonna do?
Kind of sidle on up over to Piper. I think we're probably stronger. Should we be volunteering for that? He's a bear.
Point. You have a point. Yeah. I'll do it with you if you want. 2 of us holding Peanut is probably a lot easier.
That just makes me sad to watch.
Yeah. I'm with you. After you.
Dermot, we are prepared to take over if you get tired. Do you get tired? I don't know.
I do, yeah. I'm pretty tired.
Well, then take a step down, dear. They're willing to chip in.
All right, here you go. Passing Peanut.
I love this game.
We know you do.
So wiggly.
Dermot, up and down, I'll catch you.
Okay. I jump. I'm jumping. I jumped.
All right.
It's like that scene in Mean Girls. Walk it off.
Piper will hop into the wheel next to Lilac so they can go in steps.
What
instead
are
of just on the
what
same
are your
side.
two's constitution?
Can you sit on my shoulder or something?
13.
14.
All right, so you guys can maintain this for a good long while. So as you guys hop in and continue to run, you guys are able to get up to almost near full speed with the 2 of you. Not completely full speed, but Nisa will tell you that not even Dorothy could do that, nor Dorothy wasn't full size. So you're getting as good as Dorothy could do. It is very tiring, and a couple of other people may need to swap in now and then, as you probably need to be doing this for about an hour. And so even some of the other crew may come in and kind of step in and help out as necessary to keep things moving. But you figure it out. You are able, as long as somebody's holding Peanut, and Peanut is a part of it, then it seems to work. Nobody's quite sure why, but these devices were created by, the designs were created by people that were, well, not people. There's some sort of nexus creatures that were teaching you how to travel. So they know how it works. So after a little while, the captain calls you together and lets you know that you are at the planet. That the only one that seems to have any sort of signs of life. They've done a little scrying on them as they go. The scrying device is held together with duct tape and bubblegum. Basically, it's not going to work for very much longer. But it will give you the opportunity to ask some questions about the planet. And it's going to give you the opportunity to ask 3 questions. So the first thing that he will tell you is that the areas that he's going to set down in, every area he's kind of looked at has been fairly decent-sized city-like civilizations. Humanoid-esque people. They look like humans and elves and dwarves, and just like they do back home. Everything in their cities seems run down. It seems like there's nothing new being built. And it's like they're struggling, maybe. So that's the information you have. What other 3 questions would you like to know before you go down there?
Perhaps something about the residents. Go ahead, Dietrich, if you had a thought.
Monetary conversions, would they recognize the
Some money
coin?
good there.
Right. The metal was valuable.
How do they trade would be my question.
Is that the question? First question?
That seems fair.
Their system of commerce.
Miss.
So after doing a little more scrying, the crew member will come back to you and let you know that they do not see any signs of commerce. No signs of trade or barter. Any buildings that look like they were shops seem to be closed.
Perhaps what is the population makeup of this place? How many and what kind of people live here? Or is that 2 questions?
Well, what is it you want to know? Like, you want to know how many elves, how many dwarves, how many...
I'd like to know what sort of folk live here, if it's something that we're familiar with or something that's going to be a bit more foreign to us.
Other than elves, dwarves, and that, I'm not understanding what
is the world populated by people that look like us, or is
I already
it
said
different?
That. So yeah, elves, dwarves, gnomes. Yeah, no, that's.
I had.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's what was confusing me. I'm like, more than that, I don't know what you're asking beyond that.
No.
So got it. Okay, yeah, no, that was already said.
Okay.
Do we want to try to figure out why it looks so run down?
Well, what question would you ask? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a catastrophic event that resulted in the way it looks now? What was the catastrophic event? Maybe. Is that too requesting of the past?
If there's, we can look for evidence of some sort of catastrophic event.
Sure.
Does that work?
Is everyone all right with that?
Okay.
Evidence of a catastrophic event.
All right. So after a short while, they come back and let you know that they don't see any evidence of any sort of catastrophic event. That nothing seems to have happened. There's no large energy discharges, no portals that have opened up into other planes. It doesn't mean that it didn't happen. They just don't have any evidence of it. No large center masses of energy or magical essence that exist anywhere. One of the things they only see, maybe some aftermath, is it appears that almost all the crops everywhere are dead and long dead. Like all fields have been left to fallow, but not like taken care of, just left to rot.
Do we know what they appear like? What are they doing? Like, are they just wandering around, or if there's no crops or no trade, what do we see them doing?
So, what sort of activity is the life down there participating in?
Oh, I was thinking that would have been part of the when we found out where they were question.
Like you got the information you got. So whatever questions you want to ask, this is looking more into it. Because this is looking more into details about it. Because you might see a few people doing something or something else, but that may not be a general idea of what the population does.
That's all I could think of now that I'll say that in character.
Do they appear to be coming out of maybe a subterranean kind of environment, maybe? If there's no sign of commerce above ground, everything seems run down, and
perhaps they abandoned
no crops
the
or anything. Perhaps they're underground.
So earlier when I said that there are cities and things, that's where the people are living, is in the cities and things. They would have scried into other areas. I would have said they're living under the ground or something like that. So, so that's no apologies. This is a brand new thing we're doing. So that kind of is implied. They are living in the city. So I'll give you that they are in the city, not coming from some sort of underground thing. Now, do they go somewhere from the city, like to some special place or something like that? That could be a question. But for the most part, they seem to live in the city. Is the gist that you've been given?
What about their leadership? Right, who leads these ragtag, down on their luck people?
Is there a system of government or a system of authority
that might influence their lifestyle? And what Dermot was getting at, there might be some sort of reason that they don't,
I suppose that would lead one to perhaps request if there is some sort of dominant, either dominant power of some kind, or perhaps a more primal dominant population that keeps them down on their luck. I'm asking, are there monsters? I suppose.
Well, we're all monsters, really.
Don't be melodramatic, dear.
Have you met me?
So what's your final question?
Who's in charge
of
the peoples, the cities, the go? Yeah, I'll just go with mine. What's the leadership situation look like?
So as far as they can tell, there seems to be, of all of the cities in this area, the cities and villages that seem to exist in this large, what we would consider maybe a country-sized area, there is one city that is larger than any of the others. It has some sort of large structures in it. One looks like it may be religious in nature. It's got this large glowing sun on it, and another one looks like it may be more feudalistic in nature, and designed to be some sort of place for maybe a king to live, or some sort of lord or royalty. And by looking within, which would you like them to discover, the religious or the feudalistic?
I have no experience with either. So, votes to the party?
I have experience with both. Therefore, both are interesting. So, whatever the rest of the group determines.
Alright, everyone for religion.
Religion does seem maybe easier to mess up if we're, going down in there and doing something that's accidentally against their religion or something.
Hi, all. Have you heard the word of our Lord and Savior Zorus? Yeah, I don't think that's gonna go over well.
Yes, maybe nix the evangelizing while we're newcomers.
Luckily, not in my wheelhouse.
Well, then I would propose we check out the more secular power structure. I would feel more comfortable there, and Piper said she can flutter between both. So, get a lay of the land and try not to get into any legal trouble while we're there.
Makes sense to me.
All right. So you want to know more about the secular feudalistic side of things. Okay, so after a little bit more research into the scrying, they find out that the king of this area, although they don't find out what the name of the territory is King Rainswight. Rainwigt, Rainswight, or Rains, Rainswight, and he, they say, is a very large, burly, dwarven man who all they've seen him do through all their scrying is sit on his throne, and he does nothing else. He doesn't seem to talk to anyone. He just seems to sit there. And inside the palace, there doesn't appear to be any guards or anything. However, one of the maybe more interesting things is that it appears that his throne room is also a tomb, as it has all of these sort of beds built into the walls, and there are the skeletons of dead people inside of them. Not all of them are filled, but most of them are.
Piper looks disturbed.
And that is where the scrying machine breaks. They vow they will try to get it working again, but at this point, it is your choice where you want to go, where you want the ship to land. If you want to go to the major city, if you want to go to one of the smaller cities, or one of the villages, the outlying villages, where you want to go. And then you need to determine what your goals are. One of the big things is you need food, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of food here, unless they have some other form of sustenance. That was another thing that I will give you, though, because I saw a lot of people in the scrying. Nobody looked starved. Nobody looked like they were going without. Other than the normal amount of population that always kind of looks like that. Whether through disease or sickness or because they do, but it's very, very small, like not the entire population.
It seems to me that we should be investigating how they sustain themselves, and perhaps that would help us in our more limited capacity to do so.
Especially if they've got no plants growing. I mean, look at the fields just look dead.
Well, I suppose the question is, did they let them die, or was there some sort of
Blight.
famine? Yes. Well, we'll have to ask around then.
Oh, where should we put down?
So, major population center or something smaller that might be
Not too
more adjacent?
small. There's no really knowing how they would handle newcomers, more insular communities. Larger would probably be better in my mind. Moderate to large, have a few more options to explore that way.
I follow Curie.
I like Curie's idea. I definitely don't want to go to the capital after seeing that.
All right, but why don't we go to a moderately sized place then?
All right, so one of the cities.
Yeah.
All right, so you go to one of the outlying cities. They are all very similar. You can't really tell the difference between one or the other. The captain uses you and Peanut to land down on the ship. Will you be taking Peanut with you or not?
Seems kind of dangerous for our only mode of being able to leave.
Yes,
Yeah, and-
I would feel more comfortable with him with Niso, to be
Okay.
honest.
Dermot, since he is bonded most with you, please make an animal handling check at disadvantage.
Stay. Stay. Back up a little. Stay.
Since this is the first time you're trying to leave Peanut alone.
Peanut? No, you have to stay. He's not staying. I with disadvantage, I rolled a 6.
So Peanut clings to whoever is holding them, and any attempts to try to put them down has them scurrying back up, and it does not look like Peanut wants to leave.
It's okay.
It's
yeah, just-
scurrying on me.
Mhm.
Means he likes you.
Yeah, we'll just get a little bit of
Why?
extra protection.
Maybe he likes the smell of a library or books. They have much more intense senses than us, dear. Well, than you, dear.
All
I
right,
like
so
small books.
the ship sets down. Peanut is not leaving your side this time, and the gangplank is thrown out. Is there anything in particular that you want to take with you other than the equipment you have on you? Is there anything you need extra of?
Some
Rope?
rations in case we
rations.
don't like what they eat.
Okay. There are some rations available right now. The dry tack rations were enough for everyone for one full day, on top of whatever the chef brought. The chef's been handling all the food up till now, so each of you can have one full day's worth of rations at this point, that you can take out of storage. And there's another one. Let's see, there's quite a bit of crew, so there's probably 25 more days worth of rations available on the ship if somebody wants to put that in the ship's inventory.
Okay. Who wants to keep track of the ship's inventory?
Curie, do you want to bring your seeds with you just in
I
case?
was just about to suggest that, actually.
I can trap ship inventory.
Thank you.
Very good instincts, Piper.
Flora turns down the ration. She has some of her own.
Okay.
Lilac, I think we're running low on rations. I think that second and third breakfast should stay in the stockpile now from my supply.
Is that a sacrifice you're willing to make?
A sacrifice, if you will.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a. Excuse me.
It is it's your choice.
Yes.
Okay.
Lilac,
I felt that.
if you're really still hungry later, if I have enough spell slots left, I could cast Goodberry.
It's like I have a protein bar if you want it.
Yeah, basically.
Like a really chalky one.
Dermot is going to. Hold on. Oh, no. Well, I got that natural one out of the way. Dermot's attempting to return the rations to the stockpile and still slip Lilac a little snack. And it's not sly. It's
So just-
literally, he just Dermot's just handing in front of everybody like some of it.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Lilac will look at this offering and see that everyone is staring at this. And
Piper
Kiri's
will look
trying.
away. Piper
Yeah,
looks away.
Kiri's trying not to look like.
Even Peanut's like looking at it like,
We didn't see anything.
Nobody sees anything.
No, absolutely not.
Sorry,
they
what?
will not take additional portions.
all right.
It's
Okay.
like, oh dear, I need to tie my boot. Hold on. Excuse me. Flora, I had a question. Piper and I came to the same conclusion that perhaps we should bring the seeds that I found. Who knows what sort of trade they could be worth in a place that doesn't have food. There could always be the problem of not being able to grow things here, not just that it's dead. But in the event we would want to do something with the seeds, is that something you could help with? I don't quite know what a druid is capable of.
Well, yes and no. It partly depends on what exactly you mean. I don't know any of the spells that let me force plants to grow, really.
That was the question.
The most I can do is I can make a seed pod open.
With
So
fire.
like if we need to get to the seeds of something, I can do that. And I can make flowers blossom and I
With
can make
fire.
leaf buds bloom.
With
But
fire.
I can't. Yeah. Yes, and lots of fire. But I can't force everything to grow yet.
Understood. Well, it was a shot anyway, but still, perhaps if needed, we might have more leverage with it. So I'll hold it very close because I'm sure it'll be valuable to us if we have to bring it back with us. But it was just a thought. Thank you.
That's true. And like I said, I mean, I guess I could just do it now if you guys don't mind waiting a bit while I prepare the spell. But I do know how to cast Goodberry.
Mhm.
It varies how many berries actually show up, but each berry, it's enough to feed you for a whole day.
In case we get a little left behind, or the food goes bad, or
Yeah.
Hmm.
They do.
Are
have
they
to-
actually good?
I mean, they taste a bit like a cross between a strawberry and a cranberry, so they're not quite super sweet, but they're not bad.
So not quite sweet, not quite edible. Is what you're saying.
I think the real question is, are they really a berry?
They are.
Oh
and
dear,
they're not-
entirely new train of thought there.
Right, so we need to go, guys. People waiting on us for food.
Sure,
and
sure
stuff.
thing.
Let's
Niesel
move, let's
pops
move.
in just as you guys are about to depart. Captain asked me to bring this to you. Hands you a parchment, some things that we could use, along with some things that we could trade.
Very good.
Thank you. All right.
And just so you get some ideas, some of the things that can be traded out are things like the silver dining sets that happen to be on board, and some of the nicer plates and things. And the basic stuff besides food that is needed. Food is the big one, underlined, circled, exclamation points. But besides that, there's just a few other things on the list that are just kind of things that you guys are always going to need to repair the ship, and consumables that'll be used throughout. So I'm not going to go into full details about what all of them are, unless something comes up in particular. So, but for the most part, you have a list of things you need and a list of things you're willing to trade.
Lilac, you seem to be quite keen on organization and keeping things orderly. Would you like to be in charge of our task list? That's a
Really?
yes, I assume. Yes. We must
Sure.
all lean into our strengths. Right. Excellent. And Curie will sort of gesture with her walking stick for Niesel to give the list to Lilac.
He's holding it out for someone.
They'll take it and they look a little happier than they have since they found out about the lower rations.
Curie was watching Lilac during that whole exchange, trying to gauge whether or not that was the right thing to do for them.
Here you are. Thank you. And he turns and leaves.
Thank you,
Thank
Niso. Be
you,
safe.
Niso.
We appreciate you, Niso. Just so you know.
He's already gone.
Okay, I say it anyway.
It's all right, Dermot. He felt it.
Felix, tell Niso that we appreciate him.
Oh, okay. And you hear from like another room, kind of echoing. Oh, Niso Dermot says that they appreciate you.
Shall we go?
Oh yeah.
So you guys leave the ship. It's still about a 30-minute walk to the edge of the city. They don't want to arouse a lot of suspicion by like landing right next to the city. And as you guys are walking, that was great. As you guys are walking towards the city, the first thing you notice is that you come to a lot of farmlands. The farmlands seem completely abandoned. You don't even smell the rotting of food. It's just all been rotted. It's gone. At least the season is past. It's cool. And the foliage is losing leaves, so you're guessing it's autumn. It should be harvest time. But none of these farmlands have had anything, and there's no livestock that you can see. You do at one point come across a large field that has skeletons of livestock, just thousands of skeletons just littering over these large fields and rolling hills right before the city. But again, it looks like they've been there for a while. As you come to the edge of the city, it feels like the city once was thriving and beautiful, but now it seems like people have stopped caring about it. Nobody upkeeps it. The walls are crumbling. It's dirty, and leaves collect and dust. Some stores and buildings are boarded up, and there's very few lights anywhere. And it is about a little late, early afternoon, mid-afternoon, somewhere in there. So it'll be getting dark in a few hours. Right now, as you enter the city, you don't see anyone.
Reminds me of one of my album covers.
This is unnerving.
I don't like this.
Well, best not to show them you're flinching. Just keep an eye out.
Everything's fine.
Let me know if you want me to try to get a sense around here, divinely.
I am getting odd vibes of a play I found of one point where the dead went walking, and it was very disorienting and upsetting. Yes, please.
See, I was getting vibes from this scroll that I read this one time where this king had a crazy dream about some cows eating some other cows. Because there were 7 fat cows that came out of a river, and then 7 skinny cows came and ate the other ones. But yeah, he wasn't very much in denial. Yeah.
How does it end?
There was a guy who helped him learn about how to interpret the dreams, and everything was fine.
I was gonna say with the plague about 2,000 years later.
Yeah. Womp womp.
Sorry. I would have no concern. I would have no qualms about finding out if there's anything to be very concerned about around here.
Alright, so Piper is going to use her divine sense and try and suss out stuff. So celestial fiends and
Piper,
undead.
your divine sense is never triggered like this. You make a Constitution save.
Oh shit.
Bong.
Oh, I have a bad feeling. Oh.
The
That's a
planets on
natural
deck.
20.
Hey.
So
Okay,
21.
so as this force, this sense, this overwhelming feeling of seasickness, nausea, and rot just kind of force against you. Your eyes start to burn from the sensation, but you're okay overall. You can kind of keep your composure. And you won't have to deal with that ever. There are undead all around you, and this place is very much filled with undead. But you don't see any, but you would guess that they're in the buildings.
She's hyperventilating slightly.
That bad.
And undead everywhere.
Lovely.
What do you mean exactly by everywhere?
In the buildings or something. I don't see them, but oh god, they're everywhere.
Oh, that would explain not needing the plants and animals.
So I shouldn't knock on the shops.
Probably
Well,
not.
maybe they're friendly.
I'm leaning towards no.
Ugh.
Well, we could try talking to someone.
All right.
Piper, which house has the fewest people in it?
I'm not sure you can actually tell through stone and through wood, but I just gave you the sense that because some windows are broken, so you're kind of like, okay, they're here. You're just not sure how many exactly, or maybe it's just too many.
She's almost like dry heaving slightly. I can't tell. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right, dear.
You start to hear this sort of hobbling, shambling sound, kind of a step and then a step, coming closer.
Piper's got her
from one of the
hammer in
alleys.
like seconds.
Perhaps we head back the way we came and recollect and maybe
Yeah.
go back to the church.
Yeah, right. You know, the religious thing that I pointed out? Right?
Doesn't seem like a bad idea right now.
Hindsight is 20/20, right?
Go,
Oh,
go.
natural 20.
So you turn, and as you turn to start heading away, those of you with a decent perception, say 14 plus, will note behind you that at the edge of the street where you heard the shambling, a young man kind of pokes his head out and looks around. Disinterested is probably an understatement. He doesn't seem to be looking or concerned about anything. He just kind of sort of steps out and looks. And then when he sees you, he almost looks interested, but seems to dismiss it and turn and start to shamble off in a different direction.
Skip. I was just waving. He popped his head around the corner.
I have a ball bearing. Can I shoot it out of my blowgun at him?
Sure. Give me a ranged melee attack.
Okay. Where's my blow? So, Curie pulls out her cane, pops the top off, puts a ball bearing in, and fires at him.
Okay.
That's an 18
That
to
hits.
hit.
How much damage you do?
Okay. I mean, I don't know what a ball bearing does.
Well, what's your blowgun do normally?
1d6 plus 3.
So yeah, just do it bludgeoning instead of piercing.
7?
So you shoot at him and you hit him right in the back of the head, and you hear this kind of and this sort of not to be too graphic, but if you've ever seen the movie Scrooged, the hole sort of opens up in the back of his head, and he stops for a moment and then just keeps shambling.
All right.
I'm alright.
Curie makes a note: 999 ball bearings.
Oh,
Oh,
And
dear.
you hear
Impressive, then?
in some sort of common language that you seem to understand, somebody yell, "Hey! Why would you do that?" And as you turn, you see a woman standing in a doorway. She's seems fine. She's maybe a little pale, but there's not. It's very cloudy here, so maybe it's just a normal sort of thing. And she has long, dark black hair, very wiry, with little streaks of gray in it. And she is wearing just these kind of very strange, simple, almost like toga-like robes. And the shambling creature seemed to be wearing something similar, but they'd half fallen off. You weren't quite sure. And
I'm terribly sorry. I promise I was only trying to get the person's attention. A non decaying person would have been able to withstand a blow like that. I did not mean to cause harm.
I would have guessed that your blow, so to speak, would have killed any number of types of people.
Well, I shall have to learn how to pull my punches, as it were.
You're not from
Sorry,
around
it-
here.
it's-
You're not from here at all. What are you? Where have you come
Travelers.
from?
Far away. Very far. We come seeking trade or
We have nothing.
boss.
We are nothing. You should leave before you become nothing.
What happened?
She just turns and starts to walk away.
We would seek to understand or to possibly help if possible.
She stops and turns back. What do you think you could do that we could not do?
Well, as a group, we're terribly convincing. A fresh perspective, perhaps? Someone from very far away could be of use to you.
There is nothing more that can be done.
Is that what the king thinks? Seems he's a bit passive as well.
There is no king. We are nothing.
I refuse to believe that, dear.
The last of us ended well over a year ago.
Are
You will
there
end
any
too if you stay.
So, are there any who haven't ended?
And as you ask that, you start to notice that you start to get some attention, and several people start to come out of other doors and standing. It seems like some of these places have a dozen or so people in them. And as you're looking around, some of them step out and walk through the doors, and some of them just appear through the walls and just sort of float, hovering near the others. And they all just stand around you, about 24 now, sort of on the edges of the street that you're standing in. Not surrounding you, but they are all around you. What was your question, Kyle?
If there's any that still remain that haven't become nothing, basically.
What did I say?
Well, I
The
thought you
last
might have
of
been
them.
here locally, but is it anywhere?
The last of
Are there?
us. Everywhere.
Right. Okay. That's fun.
How did this happen?
Why does it matter?
We are
Curious.
concerned for the safety of our people.
If you leave, you'll be fine.
How much of a buffer do we have to leave?
It depends on when we decide to end you.
I would like to wake up now. Dermot, wake up.
And
You're
as she
dreaming.
sort of says that, you feel the mood tense a little bit. And you start to hear this weird sort of sound, a lot like what's in the music, this kind of rattling sound, as coming up from the ground are skeletal beings. And they start to pull and claw their way up through loose dirt. Dirt that you thought maybe had been turned, or you didn't even notice, but it seems that they rest there, if you can call it that. And they start to turn and come, and some still have some flesh on them and some don't. And they come and start standing near their friends. Another dozen have joined.
We should go.
Right.
Agreed.
Apologies for the intrusion. We wish you no ill. Yes, let's go.
As you say they wish us no ill and are turning, the creature that you struck earlier, Curie, starts to kind of shamble back down the street.
Oh dear. I'm so terribly sorry.
And he stops and he just sort of points in your direction. And you again feel the mood tense.
Piper kind of shies away from the point, like putting her left shoulder behind her towards the ship.
Well, we should go.
Agreed.
I would like to remove a handkerchief from my pocket.
Okay.
One of the ones with the embroidery, and leave it on the ground, offering, like pointing to the one that I injured.
Make a persuasion check.
All right. 14.
He kind of looks at it and looks up at you, and although you think he understands the gesture, he almost seems upset by it, and he starts to let out this sort of screech. And let's roll initiative.
No accounting for taste.
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit.
Whew.
All right. Drumming and handkerchief fling leads to our doom.
19.
All right.
Didn't beat that.
Anybody beat a 19?
Same. No.
Nope.
So all of the creatures, as that screech sort of goes off, start to rush you. Several of them seem to have some sort of weapons on them. Some don't. They just seem to have these claws, and they just start to come towards you. Some of them rip parts of their own body off, the skeletals, and just use those broken, shattered pieces of bone. And as they rush you, Kira, you start us off.
Well, I would like to uncork the top of my gentleman's cane and, might as well shoot at the fellow who screamed at me.
All right.
Oh, that's a 9 though.
A 9 hits. So so you
wonderful.
pull out the top off your cane. You load it with a dart this time.
Yes, I do load it with the dot this
All right.
time.
So that does piercing.
Yes.
And so you shoot this dart at this creature, and although you do hit, it does absolutely no damage. It seems to just kind of pass through the creature, right through this leftover flesh and bits of skin that kind of started to rot away. Gets stuck a little bit on the clothing that's also sort of rotting, but it does 0 damage.
Oh, fuck. And Curie's going to... shit, I did it again. Curie's going to reach into her bag and start fiddling for ball bearings. Because clearly that was more effective.
Yes, it was.
And then I would like to, as I'm doing that, watch the creature, or watch the undead gentle fellow, and try to. I want to see if I can use insightful fighting on him. Be more mindful of what he's doing. So that's an insight check against his deception.
Okay, and I roll my deception.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Oh shit.
10.
25.
Yeah, you're fine. So you kind of gain an understanding of what he's going to be doing during combat that gives you the edge. Does that give you advantage, or just let you use your
It lets
sneak
me
attack?
use my sneak attack against
Excellent.
it, even
Okay.
if I don't have advantage.
All right, and then is that all you're doing?
Yes, because I forgot to do that in the other order.
Yeah, that's the bane of this type of rogue.
Yeah. Yes, I believe that's going to be my entire action.
Okay.
I would like to I don't remember what the triangulation here is, but is there a way for me to back away
towards the ship? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Yeah. So you start to retreat as you do that. So yeah. It will put you more than 30 feet away from this person that you got this insightful feat from, though, because he's a little ways down the road as it is.
Sure.
And I don't know if you can sneak attack at range if it's over 30 feet. I don't remember.
I am not sure. I will have to check, but let's say I want to... It doesn't say anything about distance.
I think sneak attack specifically says that you can't do range sneak attack over 30 feet.
Range weapon if you have advantage on the attack roll.
Maybe not. I could be wrong.
I don't see anything that.
Then we won't worry about it right now. We'll look it up later.
Okay.
So yeah, so you can back up, and that's fine. All right. So
I'd like to stay within 25 feet of him, though, because that is my blow dart range.
Oh, okay. Well, you're about that range as is. So he was down the street a little
Then
bit.
I prepare to run.
Got it. All right. Who you pick next?
Piper dear.
Yeah.
You deal with undead.
Yeah, great.
Very articulate.
Piper, being a paladin, kind of tries to steal herself for a minute, and or they start rushing. You said so. She's
All of them. 3 dozen of these creatures.
Shield out and a hammer in hand. Her pancake maker. She's gonna go ahead and attack. Although she seems a little shaky and is favoring her left side slightly.
Okay.
So she's going to go ahead and attack.
All right. You attack.
That's a natural 20.
All right.
Jeez. I don't know what's happening, but okay. I am going
natural
to go
selection.
ahead. I was planning on expending a level of Divine Smite against the undead. Is that okay? I don't know if you want me to declare that before I roll next time or not.
Divine Smite should be declared beforehand, I believe. But
Okay,
it's
sorry.
okay. I don't really care either way. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm not sure you need to declare it beforehand.
Specifically says if you hit, you can add it.
There you go. Yeah. No, I think it's after. I'm
It's
thinking of
advantage
something else.
5e over 3/5.
All right, so 1 second. Sorry about that.
It's okay. What level spell slot are you going to be sacrificing?
Just the first. I only have
Okay.
first level spells right now.
Oh yeah, right. You guys are level 3. Sorry.
Yeah.
Need to rejigger that combat encounter there, Logan?
Nope.
Didn't remember what level. Okay, just checking.
That's 61 points of radiant damage.
They're undead, Logan.
Excuse me. A baking powder. What?
61
There's
points
no
of
way
radiant
60.
damage.
Oh, because it was a crit, so it's doubled.
It was
you
a
added
crit.
max again.
Oh,
Okay, got
yeah.
it. I was like, what? So you are you going for one of
2d6
the
plus 3d8.
Are you going for
plus
one of
2.
the spectrals, one of the flesh-looking ones, or one of the skeletal ones?
Probably one of the spectral ones.
Okay, so
given
as you
Piper's past.
hit the spectral one, they just kind of burst into this kind of ephemeral and ectoplasmic sort of goo, and just kind of splat all over onto the ground, and over your weapon and onto you a little bit, and just are just gone.
Let us leave, or the rest of you are next.
Several of them laugh when you say that. Who's next, Piper?
Or
unless you had something else, I'm sorry.
No, she's panicking.
Anything else?
Anything else?
You sure?
Dietrich?
All right. Cool. Gonna go ahead and play a little tune. I'm sorry, everybody in the audience. I'm not Mike. I can't do this poetry just off the
Play
cuff.
a little tune for me.
Yeah, I can't do that.
That's why you need to prepare in advance, like Mike does.
Yeah.
I think Mike makes that up on the fly. He's got like 20 of those written, I'm sure.
I don't know.
No, Mike's that good.
To each their own. I'll go ahead and play the pipes just a little bit, and sorry, I like the music. We'll go ahead and inspire Lilac. So I have a feeling that they're going to be better at combat. And then I will cast a spell. Going to take a look at one of the ones that's closest to the group, and will while I'm playing, it almost sounds like a susser of like weird whispers, like that you might hear when you walk into like a haunted house like exhibit, like just weird creepy like undertones happening behind the music, and cast Dissonant Whispers. I need a wisdom save
From who?
One of the ones that's closest. I'll pick one of the follow suit to
5.
Piper. Okay, so we'll go ahead and failed save takes 3d6 psychic damage.
Nice.
Those are fudge dice. That's not right.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna like rolling a negative.
No, so that's 11 points of psychic damage, and it must immediately use its reaction if available to move as far as its speed allows away from me. Doesn't move towards dangerous ground, yada yada. That's the full effect of the spell.
Okay, so the creature takes how much psychic? I'm sorry.
11 points.
All right.
And Dietrich will move away back towards the ship.
So as you hit that one with 11 points, it also screams and sort of just dissipates into this kind of goop on the ground.
Cool. All right. Well, more of that. Let's. I think it'd be a good time for them to take their reaction. So let's go with the undead crew.
All right. So the undead crew, the two goopy ones, the goop starts to kind of shiver and shake and almost leap off of Piper and the ground and start to pull together, and the two creatures reform seemingly unharmed.
Oh God.
We should go.
Right.
We should go.
If everyone wants, realizing that it doesn't seem like these creatures can actually be killed. Everyone wants to sacrifice everything and just run at this point. You guys will be able to make a retreat. Is that something everyone would like to do?
Yes.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Since Lilac has Peanut, and Lilac also has, I forget what it's called,
A
action
shopping
surge or
list?
whatever.
Inspiration?
I would like.
Oh, action search? Okay.
No, the something. Yes, action surge. I would like them to book it because
Double?
of Peanut. Yeah,
Okay.
just
Well, go.
so sorry everyone, and just
Go, Peanut, go.
Oh, and then dashing is definitely something I can do. So
Perfect.
No, it's perfectly good idea.
So the six of you turn and just start to run. Flora, did you have something else?
I was just gonna double check. I can't remember how fast Dermot is.
Oh, it's okay. Just leave
Well,
me
but you can-
behind.
It's fine.
It's
This is-
okay.
This is more of
Go.
a
Save-
cinematic
save-
retreat.
Save yourselves.
So as the six of you just realize that this is not going to be one this way, you turn and you start to run. At the edge of the city, they seem to stop, not because there's some sort of mystical force stopping them. They just let you go at that point. And you guys start to run back through the farmlands. Do you regroup here or do you go back to the ship?
We have a pass the peanut. Just to let
Pass
you
the
guys
peanut.
know.
Oh, he's
Never gonna give you
very,
up.
very wiggly.
Lilac, you get to decide who you're giving peanut to. If you can get
who's
peanut.
the closest to Lilac at this point?
At this point, you're all running together, so anyone.
Okay, then what Lilac is going to do is flag down Flora and pass Peanut over as gracefully as possible, and then do the kind of like brave defensive stand thing so that everyone else can book it.
All right.
what the fuck that noise?
I need to unattach it. I tied it to myself. Okay.
Hamsters have claws, man.
Doesn't want to let go.
Piper's been like running backwards, shield and hammer out, kind of like keeping an eye as we run away, looking over her shoulder.
So Lilac, as you kind of turn and stand your ground as you started in the farmland, you realize they're stopping as well, and they just kind of stand there and stare at you with their weapons ready.
Is everyone else back?
Everyone is past
Away
you
now?
now, yeah. All right.
And then run.
Yeah. And you can keep the handkerchief.
I can make another one. I thought that was very kind.
I thought so too. I will
That
make
was
you
different.
another one.
If by different you mean horrifying, sure.
Maybe handkerchiefs have the same equivalent as gloves in their culture.
Oh,
Oh.
you think I...
Act of war.
Oh dear. Or
Okay,
white
so-
flag is the opposite of what we thought it was.
Was this one purple?
Yeah, this was the
Okay.
purple sphere.
So purple is bad. Hopefully they're not all this way.
So are we gonna try the religious city?
Oh,
Potentially seems safer if we're going to stay here, that is. But we need to find some sort of sustenance or some sort of help, because I don't know if we can make it to the next one
well,
in
maybe
time.
we can do a flyover before we actually settle down. You know, just to make sure that we don't have more shambling hordes cooped up within the city.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably a good idea. And I mean, we should definitely go back and tell the captain what we found.
Make sure nobody else tries to be an away team.
Absolutely. Okay, let's
Sounds good.
shall we?
Yes, please.
Oh,
All right. So you guys make your way back to the ship. Who do you tell about what happened?
Captain, I imagine.
Okay. All right. So you tell the captain about it. He is at a loss. They are at a loss. They have no idea what they want to do about that. I'm open to suggestions.
We were thinking, perhaps allying ourselves with a different faction, just out of safety's sake. Looking into the church that we located before and seeing if maybe they're amenable to any sort of exchanges or trades with newcomers.
That sounds like a decent solution. How
Does
will you
seem like
get to
we've
the
burned that
church?
bridge.
Are we able to take off and land again?
Yes, of course.
That sounds like the safest route.
So you want to land on the church?
Oh,
Just
No.
outside of
No,
it would be
just outside.
helpful.
Excellent. And she takes off and gets ready for taking off, and that'll mean that that you guys will need to take Peanut down and do some running to get the ship up and moving, or somebody will, and that's fine. During the 30 minutes or to an hour it takes to get up and get going and moving over there, do you all stick together?
Piper is gonna go into her room with the express purpose of, she says, of taking a rest to kind of replenish her divine sense before they get out of the ship. She'd like to do that again, and wants to regain that. So she's gonna retreat to her room.
Okay. After you retreat to your room, I assume that happens pretty quickly. What do you do there for how long?
She has to take a short rest.
Okay.
To regain it. So that would be a full hour, right?
Yeah. So that'll be the entire time that you'll be gone. However, in the middle of it, it won't interrupt because there's nothing's going to happen. But there's a knock.
She'll answer the door.
As you open the door, you see a grinning, glowing face, if you could call
Lantern.
it that.
Oh, Lantern, come in.
Thank you. And he kind of steps inside with his very fabulous boots, swishing his cape a little bit. He kind of looks around quickly to assess if your room is nicer than his, is really what you're getting the gist of. And he kind of...
She is a nobleborn. It very well could be.
No, you're a contest winner, so it's not.
That's true.
He goes, and he kind of points at a locker, a foot locker. May I?
Please have a seat.
And he'll sit down and cross his legs. And, some excitement today.
Oh yes, very very exciting. What have you been up to?
Listening to the excitement. Hear tell, anyway.
Yeah, I don't typically run into an entire town of undead on a daily.
So your god thingy,
Zorus.
Zorus.
Yes.
Tell me about Zorus.
Oh, well, Zorus is amazing. He's really, there's a plan for everything, and he spoke to me and told me that part of my destiny is to help him fulfill that plan, and by being a person who goes out and can protect those who need protecting, and so I became a paladin.
plan for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you believe that everything is predestined?
I do, absolutely.
He reaches into his bag and he pulls out a small item that you recognize, something he found on the ship the other day when you guys were going through the items that the dead crew had left behind. A small snow globe. He says, so you believe that the previous owner died for a reason.
Well, that's part of Zorus's plan. He is one of the masters of what happens after life.
So then does nothing we do matter?
I believe that what we do matters.
So how can you
There
believe that what we do matters, but also that there is a grand plan? And that
Because there
everything
are
is destined?
rewards for those who fulfill their destinies. People can turn away from a destiny.
Rewards. So the fact that in this, and he shakes the snow globe up a little bit, inside of this little snow globe, there's one singular building, a church. And on it the symbol of your god. Means that I was meant to find it and probably meant to give it to you.
Potentially, if you also believe in destiny, but it is not my... I'm not one who will... I am not the kind of follower that is out to change your own beliefs.
Let's say that I'm with you and following along. Why do you think, since you were in that same room at the same time, looking through the same clothes, that I would be the one destined to find it?
Maybe you're being called to a higher purpose.
Maybe things don't always work out as planned. And he just leans over and hands you the snow globe.
She takes it with her gloved hand. Thank you.
As you reach out with your gloved hand, he kind of pulls it back a little bit. And then if you don't switch hands, he'll put it in your gloved hand.
She'll switch hands.
So he hands it to your other hand. Careful. It's powerful. And he stands and heads for the door.
Thank you, Lantern. And when the door shuts behind him, she goes, "And so am I," and puts it in her pocket.
Okay.
She's gonna breathe a little bit and look at her hand, the left hand, and then just kind of shake it off.
All right.
And
Then-
sit down with the snow globe.
Is anybody up on deck during this time?
Curie is. Curie's found a cozy little spot to sit and has begun. She pulled out a tiny little wooden ring and put another hanky into it and has started on a new embroidery out of just boredom.
Okay. After a few minutes, you at your peripheral, you see this very long spiral, glittery horn kind of appear as Jeremy is looking over your shoulder at what you're doing.
Can I help you?
Nope, I'm pretty good.
Wonderful.
I'm just very impressed by what you're doing there.
No, thank you. It's just a monogram stitch. It's not too complicated.
I meant
do them
using
in my free
thumbs.
time. Oh, She's. How is being a whale?
I don't have any good jokes for that.
Oh, that's a shame. As is often tradition for me, if I make a new friend, I tend to make them something. If you would be interested, I could make a horn cozy.
Ask me again.
When I make new friends,
No, the first part.
Oh, what's it like being away?
It's real heavy, man.
There you go. Would you like a keepsake or not?
I don't know what that means.
Well, and she lifts up the embroidery ring. Well, it's a small gift that might not necessarily have any sort of productive purpose, but is a symbol of someone's appreciation for you as a friend.
Oh, that sounds very nice. I've never gotten a present before.
Well, we will have to remedy that. Do you have a last name, Jeremy?
Nope.
Just a J, then. Very well. And she will continue stitching. She's not that far along. I could turn that into a J. Sure. And she will start adjusting what she's doing and start stitching a very serifed J into the hanky.
Okay. All right. Anyone else do anything before you arrive near the capital city?
Go talk to Mo.
Okay. So you go in and knock on the secret door with the secret knock, and Mo opens the door. This large, sort of round, strange mechanical creature standing before you. This Modron, named Mo, very original. He just opens the door and he just like kind of looks up at you with his one big eye in the center of his body.
Hey,
Hi, what's up?
do you prefer Mo or Felix?
Felix isn't real.
Sorry, you got me. Okay. Right. Mo.
Yeah?
Have you ever heard of just a planet full of undead?
Which timeline?
This one.
Nope.
Right. Well, we seem to have encountered one. So, timeline. All right. What was it like in the other timeline?
I don't remember, but I do remember there being a lot of undead.
Okay. Right. This was.
I'd have to go back to
Listen.
Magnus to tell you the truth. I don't know.
All right.
I don't even think that's how you pronounce it. See, I've forgotten. I've been gone so long.
I really can't tell if you're having a go at me.
Also,
or-
I'm not sure if that plane exists anywhere else. Maybe it only exists in our world. Maybe this place has a different one. There might be another Mo there. I'm not sure how to handle this information.
Me either, Mo. Same hat. Thanks for your time. I'm gonna go and not think for a while.
Okay. Remember, don't tell anyone about me.
About what?
About me.
Right. Okay. As you were then.
Come back and visit soon. Or never.
Whichever might happen first. Sure. Thanks for your time.
No problem. And he turns and goes back in and shuts the door.
How? And Dietrich goes back to his his bunk.
Okay. Anyone else have anything to do?
Niesel or Flora would go let Niesel know that Peanut is okay and that we made it back, but it doesn't need to be a thing. She just wants to touch base with him since
That's
he
fine.
cares about the hamster.
All right. Lilac, do you have something?
Yeah, I think that Lilac would probably go visit Souffle in the kitchen. It also doesn't have to be a thing.
Okay.
But you know, getting a snack.
Right. So, and yeah, getting a snack, and Sue will also, ask you about some of the items on the list that she asked for. Obviously, they didn't have any because, you didn't do much, but it will say kind of when you start to tell, do you talk to Sue about what happens if she pries?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So after a while, she starts to ask really strange questions about the more solidly formed creatures you face, like how together they were, if you could see their flesh rotting or kind of dripping away, how much, does it look intact? Was there any color to the skin? She has some really strange questions.
While I applaud your dedication to interesting culinary pursuits, I do not think that. No. No. No.
All right, fine, whatever. You want to starve, you'd rather starve. That's fine.
Lilac kind of like takes a look at the food that they're eating and
I've only brought in
keeps
3
eating, but
undead
is...
things for eating, and those are bulky eggs, and you will probably never see one. They are a delicacy, and I will save them for special occasions.
All right.
All right. So you guys arrive outside of the temple. There's a large courtyard. It's all overgrown. There's a lot of viney, like ivy kind of growing over this temple. You land the entire ship, although it's very obvious what's happening. However, nobody seems to come and bother you as you land. But as you're landing, you do see lots of people looking at the ship, most of them indifferently.
Piper comes out of her room and is just kind of like trying to take a little bit of a breath. Okay,
So Piper, did you play with the thing at all, or did you just?
Yeah, I sat with it in my hands while I was taking my short rest.
As you are looking at this church in here, you start to realize it's not just any church. It is your church. It's the first one that you went to, the one where you trained and learned from. It is a little keepsake. You never heard about them making anything like this. It seems like it's a one-of-a-kind thing. And on the bottom of it, there's an engraving that just says, "With love." And as you sit with it for a while, you determine its magical capabilities of being able to allow you to focus your divine energies to turn undead as a cleric might. But it also seems like it may ramp your power up a little bit, and I'll DM you with exactly what it does.
Awesome. She is going to keep that very close, and it makes her smile. And after a moment of thinking about how it was given to her, she makes a mental note to kind of keep a closer eye on Lantern, because the fuck? And yeah,
All right. So after landing, the captain comes and sees you off. Says that they have some of the weapons they've started to get properly working. So they're going to be watching from the edges of the ship, but they're not sure if they work really well. They haven't really tested them, and we'll see. We'll see how they're doing next time. As they kind of gear up for anything that might happen, as they kind of put these strange looking steampunk weaponry on the edge of the ship that was down in the storage areas, the gangplank is put down, and you are set to go into this courtyard.
Right, so are we set to full disclosure about what we've already encountered, or are we just gonna act fresh-faced tourists?
I'm not sure there's any reason to be not upfront about the fact that we had a very unfortunate incident. Well, I suppose unless they seem like they're exactly the same group of people and they might take unkindly to the fact that we've had. Maybe play it by ear.
I really think that we probably want to leave Peanut this time.
Peanut will not leave you. You get 1 roll per session.
Oh, goodness.
It's okay. I'll keep him safe. He's not going anywhere.
Lilac would still say it, though,
Perfect.
even if in a meta way.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, you tried to leave Peanut, and Peanut is not having it. Starts to whine and cry and just will not
Ow,
stop.
ow. Yeah, I think he wants to stay.
Like I said, hamsters have claws.
And they could be bitey.
Well, he's not biting, but his claws are definitely there.
When they open up the ship or when they start to disembark from the ship, Piper is going to go ahead and do the divine sense again.
Here, it's not as bad. This is still desecrated. The whole place, all the city is everything. But it is not as bad here on these grounds.
Feels like there's a Subarus here. Like,
yeah. Oh, the music. Sorry.
yeah.
I was like, what?
Slightly desecrated,
Yeah.
yeah.
Slightly desiccated, but doing a pinch, you know.
Everybody
That
looks
seems like
listless.
accurate.
Everybody looks listless and uninterested.
That's pretty much, yeah. It's
Subarus.
That is Sabaros, all right.
Jesus.
We are not sponsored by Subarus.
It's not as bad. Out here, it's still there, but not as bad. So maybe the closer we get into the city, the better it'll get.
Not as bad as better than worse.
Agreed. So we're checking out the church then?
Yes,
Yep.
please.
Piper shoves her hand in her pocket where she's keeping the snow globe just as a precaution.
Okay.
We should also check and see if there's any actual shops within this region. If there's something.
Any scavenging
could-
to be had, you mean?
Or, barter or something.
Any occupied shops?
Right.
All right.
A little dramatic for this. So you start to head into the courtyard and then down into the church itself, this temple. And you go in, and most of the doors are off the hinges. They've rotted away. It looks like nobody's been in here for a very long time. As you start to make your way through this temple, the ivy is overgrown inside. Walls have been broken because of the ivy growing through cracks and other roots and things. The floor is uneven almost everywhere. And you come to a very large room. Obviously, this was the main room, the main temple worship area. And as you enter this room, there's a real cold chill. You hear the skittering of some creatures, rats or something in the corners, and it's very, very dark as it's kind of become almost dusk now. There's no lights in here, but as some light seems to peer through just very minimally through some of the cracks, you can see that there's maybe some sort of dais up towards one side where the temple people would speak from.
Piper's gonna head over to the dais.
Okay. As you walk up there, you see there's a podium that's kind of rotted and falling away, and back there's tapestries, bars that are hanging off of with wires and with these metal bars that have pieces of fabric of tapestry. It looks like they've almost been charred, and there's dust and dirt on the ground. And the thing you notice the most is that on this dais on the back, there was this large seal, and that laying on the ground are the 3 or 4 broken large pieces and several small pieces of this seal, and an old axe that looks like it's been rotted away. This is not a simple woodcutter, a tree cutter's axe. This is an adventurer's axe, you would call it, something fancy. And it's got this weird black handle, and the blade is obsidian, and the seal lays broken on the ground, covered in dust.
This is unnerving.
Seems like an act of desecration.
Absolutely.
Well, maybe you might be able to tell what the seal was for if we put it back together.
Maybe.
It's not hard to tell. It's a very simple image of a sun, which is the same symbol you saw on the outside of the temple.
Did we hear what the sky was like here?
Cloudy for the most part.
Have we seen sun?
A little here and there, and as you were flying in, definitely.
Okay. So
Different
it's not
parts
like
of the country do
sun
get
was
sun.
blotted out.
No. Good
Piper's
thought,
gonna try and move the axe. Is it still embedded in the seal, or is it laying to the
No,
side?
it's all just thrown. It looks like the axe was used to break the seal, and then it was dropped when the seal shattered.
Piper is gonna push the seal back together.
It is probably a 8-foot, 9-foot round, 1.5 foot thick stone. So it is not something that can be lightly just pushed around.
Okay.
You also would have to move the axe.
But she was thinking about moving the axe, so she's gonna reach down with her gloved hand and see if she can knock it aside.
Okay, you reach down and you just kind of push it aside, just and knock it off to one side. And so you have enough room to kind of push the seal back together if you wanted. It takes a little effort. It takes a couple of you to do, but after a few moments, you get it back together. But nothing happens.
I realized that probably served no purpose other than to just make me feel a little better.
Right about now, that's worth it.
Yeah, that's a purpose.
What do you think about this axe?
I wouldn't touch it with your bare hands just on the off chance that there's some sort of nastiness on it.
Can't you do your sniffy thing and smell it out?
I mean, I'm the only one with bare hands. Was that directed at me?
Nope.
You just hear a collective
Ungloved.
sigh.
With ungloved, unclothed hands. I can try. Piper will go ahead and I don't know if it'll give me much from it, but I can try again. And she'll go ahead and she'll try and divine sense, specifically focusing on the axe to see if it was like desecrated or something.
I don't know that it gives you. Does it detect
doesn't
evil?
quite.
Do you have? I don't know what it does. I thought it just detected the types of creatures and things.
You detect good and evil.
Okay, though the axe is incredibly evil, you detect no good here. You do detect one undead in the room with you.
In which direction?
Behind you, in the pews.
She kind of spins around towards it.
You
starts
see an very old man who is wearing similar robes to the kind of toga robes, but these are red. And some of the fabrics and cloths you've seen here have been this similar kind of red. These are tattered and old, and he seems to wear some sort of chain with a symbol kind of peeking just up over the edge of the toga. What is your perception, Piper? Your passive?
Oh, it's a 12.
12.
It's
Yeah,
not very
12 doesn't
good.
quite get it. You can't quite see what the symbol is, but it's kind of curved at the top.
Hello.
Why are you here?
We're searching for answers and also looking for people to trade with for food.
This is not a very safe place for you all.
Why
Not
is
even
that?
here. Outsiders have a tendency to join us. They join the nothing.
What is the nothing?
It's what we are. It's what
So-
we were left with after she abandoned us.
Curie looks at the church. Was this her house?
The Golden Heiress. Yes.
Heiress like an inheritor to an estate.
Correct.
I'm sorry you were abandoned. That is not a good feeling. And catastrophic for your people, I can see.
No fate could have been worse. Not one
What?
that I could imagine.
What brought about this doom upon your people?
Rain's White. Our Lord.
He sits alone in a tomb.
He didn't understand what would happen. Or if he did, I could imagine nothing more evil.
What did he do? What did he try to do?
He
he the one that
desecrated
broke the
every
seal?
house. With
That?
Banebringer. And he points to the axe.
What bringer?
Banebringer.
Banebringer.
An artifact
what?
so powerful it could sever us from the gods.
To what end?
No lord above he.
Ugh.
Hubris.
What else? And now we are nothing.
How can we help?
You can't. The only course of action for you is to do as she did. Abandon
Leave?
us. They are coming. They know you're here. These walls will not protect you.
What? What if Rainswhite were to be brought to contrition or penance?
I know nothing more than you. Unless you can speak with the gods themselves, but I'm not sure they exist anymore. What happens to the gods when people stop believing?
They vanish.
And we're left to rot. You can start to hear sounds and movements outside of the building. Lots of them.
I think we should move on again.
What would happen to what would happen if we were to take that axe?
It's
Is there a better place
incredibly
for it?
evil.
Well, not touch it, obviously, but can it be destroyed?
What's done is done. The axe was only a tool. The act is what mattered.
Ah,
If it were that simple, we would have done it.
very well.
Before
We
the
should
last
leave.
of us died.
Are there any books remaining about the one who lived here?
The heiress.
So that we may believe. We will believe for you.
Make a persuasion check, Dermot.
We do have rerolls.
We do have rerolls. Damn it! I'm in charge of them. Going on my post.
I do have expertise in persuasion, so.
What, Rand, would I make pop culture references in the middle of all of my sentences for likes and tweets? Don't. It doesn't sound like me.
May I use a reroll?
You don't have to ask. You can just use
You
it.
may use a reroll. Just tell me.
Well,
I was asking the group. I'm going to use a reroll because even with
This feels
my
important.
bonus.
Bonus.
Much better. Total of a 22.
He looks at you. He walks over to you, Dermot.
Hi.
What are you?
I'm a teddy bear. I'm Dermot.
What is it you want in life?
Well, right now, I want to believe in Eris. I want to save all your people.
Why?
Well, because you need to be saved. You're terribly unhappy. I want to make you happy.
We can't be saved, Dermot.
Everybody can be saved, I think. Even you. I'll reach out for a hug.
As you do, you kind of put your arm on his shoulder and you go right through him.
Oh, well, I'll mentally hug you.
He walks, and you now kind of realize he's kind of floating just slightly above the ground, and he moves a little faster than his steps actually should take him. And he leans down to where this crumpled podium is. And as he pushes his hand through the podium, right behind it, all of it just kind of gets blown away. Like this wind just pushes all of it aside. And he puts his hand down on the stone where it sat. And it just flares with this brilliant sun energy and shatters. And as the brush and the stone crumbles down underneath, it reveals this bundled package, a large, maybe 12 by 16 inches, and he pulls it out about 3-4 inches thick, and it's tied up. And he walks over to Dermot. He hands it to him. It's a very heavy. As soon as you touch it, it's obviously a book that's wrapped in some parchment, some cloth.
I thank you.
At least something of us will survive. Maybe it will
Do
do
you-
some good.
Do you still have a name, friend? I would feel remiss if we were to not be able to honor you with memory.
He turns like he's about to answer you, and then looks a little distraught and lost. I don't remember.
Oh, I'll just know you as friend then.
Friend it is.
I will give you a name one day.
I just did. It was friend. It was a gesture.
Oh, well, that works.
It's a good thing. And a friend is more than nothing.
You need to go.
Perfect. No time for a cuppa. All right. So I suppose we should. We've gotten what we came here for.
Thank you, friend.
And he just turns and kind of goes and fades into the walls.
Zoras keep you when you get to your rest.
If
When? Let's go.
Agreed.
So you start to head out the back towards the garden, back the way you came, and as you reach the garden, it is literally full of people. Well, not people, but there are hundreds of them.
Right.
sorry,
look-
we were on our way out. We're just leaving.
Ready. The captain and the rest of the crew are standing up with the weapons, just waiting to see if they need to use them. But after what you said, they're not sure that they're going to do any good.
Piper puts her head in the pocket and grabs the snow globe in it. Right. Do they seem imminently hostile, or do they just look like
They
they're
have their
scary?
weapons, and they're blocking you from getting to your ship.
Please let us pass so that we might leave.
Stepping forward is a large dwarven man wearing huge pauldrons and furs. He wears a crown with jet black hair. You will join the nothing.
I will not. Nor will they.
You have no choice. And he pulls his axe up and starts to charge.
She pulls out the snow globe and hopes that she's doing it right and casts the turn undead.
Okay. So, let me check here. All right. So I have to make saving throws, I believe. It's based on a wisdom saving throw as you focus your divine energy through the snow globe and it bursts out in all directions. 60 feet in every direction is what if I remember correctly. 30 feet. Got it. Okay.
In every direction, Logan?
See or hear you within 30 feet. Yep. So you walked more than 30 feet out of the church.
Yeah.
So what's your wisdom DC?
My wisdom DC is
Say the save DC for you for your.
Oh, a save DC for me is
Yeah,
good.
sorry. I know it's not.
Oh, it's
wisdom-based.
only an 11. That's
Okay.
not great.
So I'm going to do 4 groups. There's going to be the king himself, and then there's going to be. I'm just going to do it by type. So there's going to be the ghosts, the undead, and then the skeletons. So the ghosts get a 6, a 7 for the other ones, and then plus 3 is 10. So while you step forward, running up to meet the king, and you shine this divine light, basically around and through him, he does not seem to be affected by it, but every other undead within 30 feet vaporizes, just explodes and turns into nothing. No goo, no skeletal remains. The light just sears them. They shriek and scream, and then there's nothing and silence. The king stops mid-step and turns and looks at the fine dust that seems to be falling, and he just waits a moment. Everyone stops and just waits and watches, waiting to see if they'll be back.
It's cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
And as another moment passes and another moment passes and they don't return, you start to hear weapons drop. And the mob that runs towards you now is not hostile, but half excited and half pleading.
Oh dear.
Oh,
As they run past the king, and they start to shout at you incoherently, but you understand they all want what you just did. Many of them actually start to get on their knees and bow and pray to you. Some of them start calling out that you are the Golden Heiress, the only one that can take people to the next part of life. About half about a half dozen of them just start running and screaming that she has returned. And they start to run through the city. What do you do?
You got a promotion, Piper. Congratulations.
I?
You can't let them suffer if you can help it.
I know.
I'm sorry.
As much as I understand that mentality, I believe we're dealing with an issue of volume. Just putting that out there.
But here, they believe though, right? Wasn't
You are having a hard time having this conversation because of all of the screaming and clamoring around.
Is there a way we could maybe
on
away for a
the
bit?
ship we should discuss it.
they will think that she's leaving them again.
Perhaps you could speak to them.
Zorus is a god of death.
You are his
tools.
hammer.
You might be able to convince them to believe again, to remember what they were.
Try to instill in them a bit of self-confidence and independence from their goddess.
Can I see what the book is written in? Now, Logan.
You pull out the book.
What's it written in?
As you start to unwrap the book, you start to hear them start screaming about a miracle. That she brought the book back, that she brought the text back. The once destroyed text.
It's destroyed.
Piper. Maybe you should open this now.
Okay. She'll take the book from Dermot.
Okay. As you take the book and you open it, it is written in whatever the local language is here. Unless you have some sort of way to comprehend languages, you can't read it.
I might be able to.
I mean, I could translate if you wanted to say something and they could understand
Why don't
what you were saying.
the three of you that are thinking about this, Dietrich, Dermot, and Piper, give me an intelligence checks each.
Independent?
Actually,
That
give me
sounds like
religion checks.
That's much better.
15 for me.
Okay, definitely gonna hit you.
17.
Definitely gonna hit you.
14.
Definitely gonna hit you. So all three of you kind of have the same thought as you are starting to talk about how you're gonna read this book and everything. And with the fervor that's being built around you, how you get this idea of how would it look if a god couldn't read their own holy book?
Piper does speak celestial.
It is not celestial.
I don't want to read it. It'll look bad.
Uh,
I'm gonna go give it back to friend.
Or you could just hold the book.
hold it up.
You know what's inside it. You don't need to read it.
That's true. But if I make friend my emissary,
More people are starting to join now.
I'll go get him.
she holds the book aloft.
Everyone starts
We
to
had
cheer,
a moment.
and they actually start singing. Very haunting sort of funeral dirge.
Sorry.
Can Dermot go back and get friend?
You can go back inside and look for him, but
Yep.
you don't seem to find him.
I return.
Oh, she freaking hell. She looks at Rainwright. Lay down your crown. This is over.
He's, as you turn and look, he's almost been lost in the crowd of people that are taller than him. You see him through it on his knees. His back is to you. He no longer wears the crown, and the axe is on the ground. As more and more people start to join, and the hymns, a song that has not been sung in a very long time, after it finishes, somebody in the crowd yell, and there's this eerie silence for a moment, almost as if somebody was expecting you to speak, but before you can, someone yells in the crowd, "Send us!" And the chanting starts. And hundreds and hundreds of people start to yell, "Send us, send us, send us," over and over and over again. And as they do, more and more people are joining to the point that the entire building is surrounded at this point. The captain is looking at you from the ship. She's completely baffled. She has no idea what to do. And she's looking at you to make some sort of decision. She's worried, obviously, about the ship.
Piper looks at her companions. They've been suffering. They've been
Is
staying
genocide
here.
all right if they're requesting it?
They're already dead.
And
Better than a life of wasting. Just waiting for nothing.
It's a better existence than the nothing.
They're
At
going
least they
to live
can.
on. Yeah.
Doesn't sound to
We
me
have the
like you
book.
need much convincing, Piper. You seem like you've already decided.
How many more channel divinities do you have today?
Well, it depends. I'm not a cleric, but it's the cleric ability that the item is giving me.
No, you
So
have
I
your own
don't-
thing. You have something different. What is your
I have
channel?
divine sense. Oh, channel divinity. I haven't used any of my personal channel divinity.
Okay, well, you had to use 2 for that. Is my point. Every time, or 1 for every time you use this device, you have to use a channel divinity.
Then
was gonna say, I
that
thought
would be
you
my
had it.
one for a short. Well, that would be my one for a short rest.
Right. Okay.
I will send you, but I need time. Your faith has been lost for some time. It will. I will send you.
I'm gonna give you a choice here of rolling perception or deception, or not perception, persuasion or deception, because you didn't
Yeah.
quite pose as their god, but you're really on that line. But you can try persuading them to relax and calm and give you time.
I'm gonna use persuasion because that's much better than my deception.
Give me a persuasion check.
Can I cast prestidigitation and just kind of like make everything just a little bit more like sparkly magical around Piper?
Absolutely. So you kind of duck behind, and with the crowd, you do a little prestidigitation to kind of give her more of a menacing, not menacing, more noble like appearance, kind of like what Gandalf does with Frodo, and just the and or Bilbo, whoever it was, and just instead, but not intimidating, more of just kind of a presence. So you have advantage, Piper. You can roll with advantage.
Well,
Thank you
just for
the
effect-
advantage. Holy shit! Thank you.
I wanted, just for the effect, I would like to cast Silent Image at the same time with Lilacs. With
Okay.
their seeing what they did.
Sure.
I would have done that and done a silent image of the glowing sun symbol, the seal.
Nice. Okay.
Appears in the air.
So that's a 19.
All right. So while a lot of the crowd kind of gets grumbly about it, they start to we've waited so long, and why can't you send us now? And some even obviously lying. My faith has always been strong. Which actually may be true. You don't know what they've done with their lives after. But at this point, they do seem to give you that, and they don't disperse, but they do kind of calm down and just kind of start waiting and praying just outside of the church. As I said, more and more people who have nothing else to do or lose are all joining as well. It's starting to fill the streets around as well. And you would guess with your 30-foot, with your 60-foot diameter, 30-foot radius, you're guessing, you can do maybe 100 people at a time if they all crowd in. So you're going to guess that you will need hundreds of these if you want to do everyone.
She kind of very quietly.
And they do not go into the church, though, so you can retreat into the church to talk.
She's gonna retreat into the church. It's not gonna be enough.
Oh, we should maybe look around to see if there's anything that can amplify it, make it spread out further.
She actually sits down in one of the pews, holding the snow globe in her hand, and just kind of puts her head on it.
Have you tried shaking it?
So many people.
Curie starts pacing around the church, just studying things, looking for any inspiration of what they could do here, what would be the right action for the people that believe in this goddess. Maybe there's other things that are here besides the book. She's just grasping at straws, but
At this point, you probably come up with a half dozen ideas. The problem is that none of them are going to work on a fervent mod who have been living undead for who knows how long, and all they want is peace. It would take time that you don't maybe want to spend weeks, months to get them to come around to living those lives again.
Piper, if and I know that I'm not very knowledgeable about these things, but if the king caused this, if you're able to send the king, do you think it would fix it?
Maybe.
well, but what you did
And by
before,
send, I mean kill. I don't think that was clear.
that was appropriately euphemistic, but still very clear.
Mm-hmm.
It is entirely possible. Do we wish to make an example of
Give him
him?
the
Oh,
option
God,
to
that's...
give him the option to express a little contrition, perhaps.
I mean, casting down his crown and falling to his knees is kind of contrite, wouldn't you say?
Not enough for damning an entire world, I would say.
Invite him inside the church and have him repent for all to see.
Damn it. Let's see. I'm wondering if the book has any acts of consecration.
Let's look.
Friend,
All right, so Dermot, friend is nowhere to be found. So Dermot, you pulling out the book with you, Dietrich, and Piper, the three of you are going to be working with the book. Is that what I'm hearing?
yeah,
Each of you give me an intelligence check. Just straight intelligence. I'm trying to remember something.
14.
7.
That is a dirty 20.
No, 16, sorry.
So there was something, as you guys are kind of poring over the book, something that you were told earlier today kind of tickles at the back of your mind. I'm going to give you an opportunity to try to guess it yourself. And that's... Thank you so
For
much.
the raid.
Yay, raid!
That is the correct one. Perfect. So something that you were told earlier today kind of tickles at the back of your mind. Something you were told about coming to these places.
Well, that the gods are particular to the spheres that we find ourselves in. And that, Piper, your ability to do what you're doing might mean that she hasn't actually left.
In inspiration, yeah.
Oh, Golden Heiress. I really could use your help right about now.
Dermot and Dietrich and Piper, as you guys are poring over the book and starting to do the translations and things, one thing that stands out to you is that this is a monotheistic society. So this is the only god that they have. Had.
So if she hasn't left, she's still here.
In some form or another.
Can you talk to her?
I wonder if we already did.
So your hour is wrapping up as you've been translating and working towards this. You have a divine energy back. What are you doing, Piper?
I just one maybe you could. I know it's been mentioned, but just something to think about, that the sword, maybe banish that or get rid of it or something.
I just don't know how, but
Could you does your sparkly thing that you do does it would it work on an inherently evil axe? That might be pulling things out of left field, but you know, it's.
I mean, maybe we pushed the seal together. She hasn't
Right.
left.
Right. So, what if we gather everybody into the church, right? And they start singing their hymns, right? And then you know, stand upon the dais, upon the symbol or something, and do what you're doing.
It's a better idea than I've got. You guys are. Bring him in, I guess. I mean, I'm grasping at straws.
Where are you right now in the room, Piper?
Up towards the podium.
As you make your way up towards the podium where this shattered podium up on the dais had been, you see that the seal is more back together than it was before. All the pieces seem to be in place, even the smaller ones. The cracks are still there, but it seems to be completely put together.
Guys, the seal's coming back.
Do we just wait?
People believe in her again.
Bring them into the church. Encourage them to be singing.
Curie, Dietrich, you've got a booming voice. Might be able to get their attention.
Sure. So Dietrich is going to put his take out a piece of wool out of his vest and put it to his throat and cast minor illusion to increase the volume of his voice. Penitents of the Golden Heiress, come and sing your hymns to your goddess. She has not abandoned you.
So as you do that, several people start to rise up and start to sing, and then even more join and more join. But over the last hour, the singing becomes almost deafening as you realize that you can't see even up on this raised part of the church where, you know, 'cause it's about 5 feet above where everyone else is. You can't see any streets that don't have people in them. People are on top of the buildings. People are in the windows. Everybody in the city and more are coming to this place.
Dermot, back me up.
Oh, okay.
So Dietrich will start to play his pipes in tune with, trying to pick up what the congregation's singing, and try to do an accompaniment, and nod at Dermot, see if we can get a
I'm gonna
jam sesh going.
I'm gonna start drumming.
All right. And so people start to, as you do that, crowd into the church, I believe is what your goal was. And they start to push
Curie will
in.
help open a door.
They start to push in more and more, and they don't seem to have any concern about standing on furniture, standing on each other, being crowded as possible in there. And then the entire above them are floating all of the kind of spectral figures as well.
Standing room only.
Piper is going to use minor illusion to cast the symbol of the divine heiress up onto the wall.
Okay.
Just so it's being projected rather than just.
As you do that, the entire congregation goes silent, except for the haunting tones of the singing from outside.
It's all you, love.
Piper takes a deep breath and stands. And turning towards the seal, she holds the snow globe in her hand and just says, "Be free," and casts the channel divinity into the seal.
As the light leaves through the snow globe and from your hand and it goes into the seal, it fills every one of the cracks, which become gold lined, as if the gold is fixing the seal. And there is this explosion of air, this gust of wind that blows past you. And from this moment on, Piper, you're the only one that sees or hears any of this. Before you is a 9-foot tall, glowing white figure with huge, long spectral wings. Just a being of brilliant light. And as you look around, everyone else is frozen. Nobody else is moving in this moment, or if they are, they're moving incredibly slow. And you feel this radiant energy just pour over you, which heals all of your wounds, and if you have any. And you just feel this comfort and this warmth. But then you feel this choice. Now the speaking isn't speaking to you, but you feel that you're being given the choice, the fate of this world. And this is your choice, Piper. You can either restore the faith of every being on this planet, but they're still left undead, or you can put them all to rest.
And if I put them all to rest, then this planet remains just barren and dead forever.
Dead. Maybe not forever. It's only the sentient people. Animals that you've run across have been alive.
If I restore their faith, then there's a chance that they will be able to go to rest at some point. It won't just be this cycle of.
Or you can just put them directly to rest.
Fuck.
You don't know, and there's no way to get the answer to if they will ever be able to be turned or be sent on, or if they will have to live just with their faith, but forever.
Piper takes a breath, looks down at her hands. And sends them to rest.
As you look at your hands, the light slowly pours like water from them and hits the seal, and it just starts to flow away from you. And unlike when you turned them dead earlier and you heard the screams of these creatures as they were being turned and destroyed, you hear sighs, you hear joy, you hear happiness. And everyone at this point can see this energy and feels this energy. They don't see this 9-foot tall celestial being standing there. They just see the energy leaving from Piper and from the seal, and everyone's smiling and everyone's singing, and the hymns turn to joy as they see more and more of this light pour out, and all of these people just turning to light. They're not disintegrating, they're not turning to dust, they're just turning to light, and then they fade. And after a few moments, this light leaves this area in this sunburst that kind of goes out and over the whole city, and then over everywhere, you assume. And everyone is gone. A few moments later, the captain and Niesel come into the church.
Piper is not meeting anybody's eye.
Dermot, you feel a hand on your shoulder. You look up and you see Friend.
Oh, hi, friend.
I'm going to need that book back.
Oh, all right.
He's corporeal.
Yes. I asked to stay. There are a few here that were not nothing. They need to be guided.
Lilac's gonna walk over to Piper and kind of awkward out for a minute. You all right, buddy?
Yeah, not fine.
And then
Okay.
kind of like punch her shoulder a little bit in that, like, I think this is how people are supposed to friend.
So Piper seems to friend.
It's very much how Piper seems to friend. Yeah. I'm great. I'm good. Thanks. Appreciate it. You okay?
I probably should have picked the other shoulder.
Yeah. Always the right arm.
Yeah.
Always the right arm. Yeah. We should. I mean, I think I saw some animals and stuff out towards the edges of town. Maybe we should go hunting or something if Sue needs some actual food for the ship.
Yeah.
We can go do that and be helpful or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
We haven't been very helpful till now.
No, you guys
Curie.
are awesome.
Shh. Mm-mm. No, ma'am.
Piper.
Hmm?
Hi. You did really good, a really wonderful thing.
A very difficult thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if there's one thing that I like about you, it's that there's more than one thing that I like about you.
Well said.
Thank you, Dermot.
So, you join the captain in Niesel, and you now have an entire city to look over and pull supplies from. While there isn't a lot of food, you do find some animals to hunt, as a lot of game animals have been thriving. And a friend does help you find a few things, necessities. You gear up and get enough supplies to cover the stuff on the ship for a month. The ship is just filled to the brim, and while you are all scavenging around the city, each of you finds one thing that is either a comfort or reminds you of home in some way. Something you decide to keep. What is it? Kyle?
I think Dietrich, while searching the city, came across it was a room that had bunk beds in it and probably some toys and like kids' clothing, whatnot. Some like things painted on the walls that have like since decayed into the lack of attention that's been paid to it. But on the like a bureau is sitting a small like wood and metal music box that when cranked plays the hymn that the people were singing.
Perfect. I'm not going to popcorn this one. If you're ready, raise your hand. Let me know.
You said something that reminds us of home.
Something that's
or-
comforting, something that reminds you at home, something
Comforting.
maybe that you've
Okay.
needed and you didn't think you might need on this journey, but not something like I found a +3 Holy Avenger. Not like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it'd be a little overkill.
Flora?
Okay. So Flora's looking around and helping to search for animals since she can locate them. And while she's looking around, she finds an orchard where most of the trees are dead, but towards the outskirts, near where it was starting to edge into regular forest, so just nature would have taken care of it, she finds a small apple tree sapling. It's just big enough that she could just small enough that she could dig it up and take it with her safely.
Okay. Perfect. I like that. Who's next? Who's ready? Piper.
As she's going around, Piper finds a small, abandoned snail shell that has been carved with the symbol of the golden heiress. And she pockets it.
Perfect. Lilac, you ready?
I just want Lilac to find a really trashy romance novel.
Yes.
That's it. It's a comfort.
Uh-huh.
I would say that while there are probably quite a few books that you find to start stocking the library on different topics, many of them just kind of mundane things you guys think you'll need, that is the one comfort book that Lilac finds and brings is a trashy romance novel.
Gets slipped into the library and everyone's like, where did this come from?
No, I think
It's
Lilac's
the
holding
most
onto it.
checked
No,
out book in
that's
the
not
library.
getting slipped
Yeah,
into the
no, I was
library.
gonna
That's
say-
personal collection.
Yeah.
Well, for now.
Dermot or Flora? Who's ready?
No, I think I'm ready.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'll go after. Yeah, Curry, go ahead.
Curie was trying to think more practically. Just what do I need in the moment? I could use some more embroidery supplies. So looking through homes, trying to find string or thread or something, and she finds
Sure.
a collection that is a half-finished children's doll made out of strings and such. And she takes some thread, she takes the doll, and she starts slowly disassembling the doll and embroidering it into something. She's not sure what to make of it yet.
All right. Dermot?
Dermot is struggling to find. He searches a lot. He ends up following Dietrich around, and in the same room that he ended up with, it appears to be a child's room. He's just about given up, and he moves some discarded clothing, and underneath is a familiar sight, only much smaller. It's a little stuffed animal. It's not in good shape. Its fluff is hanging out, and it's missing an eye, and its ear is torn and everything. But they think that they can make it better, so they'll end up grabbing that.
That's great. Awesome. So each of the crew members also finds something that reminds them of home, and different things. However, you all know that one crew member does not have the opportunity to come out and participate in the scavenging, or we won't say looting. So does anybody find anything for Mo?
Well,
I could find some paints among all the crafting supplies that I found.
Perfect. That's an excellent idea. So you bring some paint to Mo, and he is very excited about it. Afterwards, with the hull stocked with everything that you could possibly need for at least a month's worth of journey, enough food from strange animals to some vegetables and fruits that you're able to find, or seeds that you could find to kind of grow your own, and put together start your own little garden on the ship. You guys are ready to continue your journey. Friend had moved on by the time you finished. He was on a pilgrimage to find the others. He said he knew where he was going. He does stop to thank Piper before he leaves. And while he does, he says, she tells me that you understand. She said that you found something. May I?
She'll show the snail shell.
And he takes it and he just holds it and puts your hand over his, your right hand over his. And he says a little prayer for you. And he opens it and you see that there's this glowing energy on the symbol, and it kind of fades. She'll always be with you.
Thank you.
As she was always with me.
You kept her alive.
And you brought her back. Thank you.
I do understand.
He
I
nods,
hope I
and
made the right choice.
I'm not sure there was a wrong one.
Thank you.
And he turns and ends up leaving. And that Piper, that shell now will work as a holy symbol for you as well.
Thank you.
So you guys get back into the Cloudbreaker, and somebody jumps on the wheel with Hamtaro, wasn't it? Peanut, and
As the past the
we
peanut
like
happened.
sunflower. You find lots of sunflower seeds for Peanut. That was your thing for
Who was passing the peanut?
Heather has to pass Peanut.
Thank you, Dumpstack Charisma. And you guys get into the Cloudbreaker, and you take back to the skies, running on the giant hamster wheel with your baby giant space hamster, because he can't do it on his own.
Heather.
And
She
Flora, I'll take it.
hands him to Curie. Here you go.
and I love this trope. And so you continue to run on the wheel, and that gets you through the wild space, past and out to the edge of the crystal sphere. As you leave the purple crystal sphere, heading on to your next, the topaz crystal sphere, which is the next closest, which is going to take you about 2 weeks to get to. So we're going to talk about what you're going to be doing next week for the next 2 weeks, and the adventures you have in the Nexus, in the space between worlds. And that is that. That's where we're going to end for the night. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for all the raids towards the end there. That was great. Really appreciate that. And we are Shenanigoons. We're a D&D Spelljammer campaign where science and magic collide, and you contribute to the chaos. You can find out all about that on our Twitter channel or down below. And Wolf, you made it to the end, yay! And I'll take a look at the audio quality and figure out if it was just me being quiet, which is probably what it was. We'd like to thank World Anvil, our sponsor. Go to worldanvil.com for the most robust world building and campaign management software that exists. They're adding new features all the time. You can sign up for
just
free.
started family trees.
Yeah, family trees is amazing. And timelines and maps you can put markers on. I mean, it's literally got everything you could possibly need in any respect, in any way. So go take a look at that at worldanvil.com and light up the forge. We'd also like to thank Die Hard Dice. And
Thank you for the bits. Oh, we're so close, guys.
Oh no!
Oh god,
Okay.
we're so close.
Everyone
I'm
who's
almost done
currently
here.
watching. Sorry, I just wanted to tell them while you were talking.
So supporting our stream, you can do so by offering bits, and every week the health of the ship, the spelljamming ship that they are on, is determined by the bits we receive. Right now they will be starting with a disaster next week. If we don't get, I think, another 10 set, there we go. So now they only are going to have a minor failure this time around. Your
thank God.
your minor bonus was the being able to scry onto the world,
Nice.
and you've got to ask some questions about what could be coming. I think it gave you some valuable insight. So things like that are the types of things that will happen if you get into the minor bonus and out of the minor failure there. And then,
hype train
Hype train.
Hype train.
so hold on. So here's how the hype train works right here towards the end. If you for every level we complete in the hype train, the players get one reroll in their reroll pool. So we've started the hype train with 24%. So bids, donations, subscriptions, all that apply to that. Also, I'd like to get back to our sponsors, Die Hard Dice. Go to dieharddice.com for the best in dice and gaming accessories. Die Hard Dice is an amazing company with some amazing people at the helm who do just all their own amazing, incredible designs. It is their designs for the dice. It's their colorways. I've been on the phone when they've been doing the colorways, and it's just really incredible what they do to create these dice before they send them out to be mass produced by their distributors and things.
I
Yes,
did actually roll a 20. Peanut rolled a 20.
that's amazing.
Sign.
So then, so go to dieharddice.com. You can get 15% off your first or next order by using the coupon code Goonies, GOONIES. We are here every Tuesday, and we are very this season sort of trying to be more episodical. So you can come into any episode and watch. So you should be able to enjoy a single episode, hopefully, or at least a small series of episodes, instead of having to know everything from the get-go, although, of course, it would help. We're only on episode 3. We're easy to go back and get all that.
I'm offended, Goonie guy, but fine.
Who are you passing
wants
peanut to?
Kyle hasn't had him in a while. Dietrich, darling, please take the hamster. Oh, some fuzz fell out. God.
Every...
Oh god.
thank you guys so much on the hype train there.
Now we have to pass it again.
Damn it!
We got another pass the peanut.
So yeah, you can
Yay,
redeem
minor bonus!
You can redeem 500
Oh, thank God you.
of your points to pass the peanut and force them to pass peanut around. Peanut always has to remain on screen as long as they have possession of peanut. And
oh god, we have 2 peanuts.
Sometimes there can be 2 on
That's
screen.
okay. 2 is
Two's okay. Two's acceptable.
Because Peanut is basically a temporal hamster. Anyway, we're going to stop explaining things. You can support our stream down below with the $5, with the tip this stream by doing $5 to gift a reroll, or join the hype train to gift a reroll. $15 allows you to spin the wheel of causality, inflicting some pain on the players as they have to do funny voices or things throughout the entire session. $25 allows you to introduce an NPC like Jeremy, the amicable astral narwhal, who has joined the crew there. And for $50 you can do a DM Ex Machina, which means that players get DM powers for 30 whole seconds. And that's it. So here we are, ending the stream. I'm trying to delay a little bit Get us through the
We
hype train.
got
That's level
thank
1.
you
That is
so
one
much,
reroll. Thank you
everybody.
guys so much.
Thank you.
And a subscription. Hey, it's working.
Tuned into Shenanigoons, and no one here was bribed. I tell ya, mayhem, magic, mystery is usually the vibe. Strap in for Shenanigoons, you're awesome, you've subscribed.
And it's the extended version, of course. We have several of these audio songs for fun and profit. Thank you guys so very much. Right now, we know a lot of people out there are being hit by the coronavirus, and so we really appreciate any donations you can right now. It is it is how we pay a lot of our bills, not just for the business but also personally. We're hoping soon. It's
Do
very
you
we
want
really
us to talk
appreciate
about
that.
that thing?
Do you guys have a locked-in date?
We don't
We
have
do.
a locked-in. Oh, do we have a locked-in date? We do have a locked-in.
We do.
date.
have a
Okay, so
locked-in
yeah,
date.
go ahead. Let's talk about it real quick.
Why don't you say what the locked-in date is?
The locked-in date is next Thursday.
And-
Now I gotta grab it.
I think. Did we just beat level 2?
Oh my god.
We did.
We just beat
Thank
level
you,
2.
thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
On Friday.
Owls and Wolves, thank you so much. Thank you.
You guys are amazing. Friday, March 27th, we are going to be doing
Nerdsmith sings for its supper.
yes.
What we were calling it.
That's what we're calling Nerdsmith Sings for His Supper, 7 o'clock PST. All donations made during that stream will be going to creators and on Nerdsmith Network who have been impacted either through reduced hours or losing jobs due to the coronavirus. So guys, please come hang out with us while we do some karaoke and sing some fun songs and try to raise money for members of our community who have been impacted by the quarantines. We'll be here on Nerdsmith, twitch.tv/wearenerdsmith on Friday, March 27th at 7 o'clock.
And we have quite a few of the people who create entertainment podcasts and streams on our network who have lost their jobs because of this, and so we're just trying to do everything we can to help out. So that's what we'll be doing next Friday, right? Is that what we said?
Yes.
Friday,
Next
yeah.
Friday. The 27th.
If you follow us on Twitter, we'll be sure to put out more updates and reminders about the event as it
Speaking
happens.
of following us on Twitter, you can follow us on Twitter at the Shenanigoons, although that's the only place you'll ever see the. As you may have heard the Beastie Boys song, there is no the, but we couldn't get Shenanigoons. We had to get the Shenanigans. Thank you so much, the Wolf's Realm, for all of this. Wolf is a new person in our community. We really appreciate everything that you do for us and being such a positive influence on our Discord. Speaking of our Discord, you like that segue? Come to join our Discord, and we have a very positive, wonderful community. Madam Gandalf, hi! Thank you so much for the subscription. That's amazing. And so, geez, we're going crazy here.
Still gifted from Wolf.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well.
Got it.
Always appreciate it. Great.
We do appreciate it. Thank you. So,
I can tell what songs are playing, but we can't hear them.
yeah, we've got. I turned it down a little bit so we can finish talking and not have to wait and do both.
That's
So
fair.
that was at the recommendation of Scraticus, who deals with this a lot more often than we do. So anyway, that's that. I think the audience can still hear it a little bit. So, but thank you guys so very much. Sorry we had to kind of cut that a little bit short. We wanted to get through this. We're gonna go ahead and play our end credit roll here, if ever we think we've done everything, and we will. We'll be back next week, 7 p.m. PST. I don't think it's PST anymore. I think it's PDT. If you're international, but it's 7 p.m. American West Coast time. Yeah. So we will see you guys then.
Can I just say though, thank you guys so much for the hype train stuff. You're giving us
That's amazing.
2 rerolls to our party pool for use, and we hit an upgrade for the ship for next
Nice.
session.
Perfect.
Thank you all so much.
So that is a
You're-
permanent upgrade that
Thank
the
you.
semi-permanent upgrade that the ship will get. The only thing that can take it away is a disaster. But I'll come up with something more creative anyway. So that'll be an amazing thing that'll happen. Perfect right after getting all of this stuff. Thank you guys once again. We're gonna go ahead and do a raid right after this. I don't know who or where we're going, but I'm gonna get the thing going and we'll figure that out. And we will see you guys next week, 7 p.m. West Coast time. Bye.
We'll be hanging out in
Thank
Discord for
you.
the next
Yes,
half
we'll be
hour.
hanging out in Discord for the next half hour. Bye.
You can find the link in our description. Bye.
the stars in search of a harbor. Won't you join our crew? Fly like a steady, even when it gets heavy. Amidst the chaos, they'll see you through. Dietrich's disdain hides a gentler refrain to keep our spirits up. And where there's a fight, there's probably Piper. She's tiny, but she's tough. Curie will find what's hidden inside, discover secrets big and small. And there's Flora to smile through the horror and wonder of it all. Dermot the bear looks through his vacant stare, but they will fluff you up.